Create a universe of endless possibilities. That's the tagline that VRChat uses, and little do you know how far those possibilities go. Welcome to the world of virtual reality, where you can be whatever you want. You can party, you can game, or even fall in love. Because here, possibility has no limits, and that means the darkness has none either. VRChat, a game that is something more than just that. For many, this is a place where they find themselves, where they can be their true selves. Because no matter who you are in real life, as soon as you put on that VR headset, you can be whoever you want. For the time you're in this world, the rules of reality are gone. You are free. When you first enter VRChat, it can feel like entering a limitless social space. You don't really have any objectives or any missions, you just have human connection. And even if you don't want to participate in that connection, you can simply watch from afar as the virtual world goes by. It's hard to explain what makes it feel so special. Maybe it's the immersion, the sense that this isn't just another online chat room, but rather a place that you can walk around and explore. Maybe it's that for a few hours of your time, or a few thousand hours, you aren't just sitting at your desk. You can feel like you're there, dancing, talking, walking. It's late. You spawn into a world called the Black Cat. It's one of the oldest gathering places in VRChat. Just a bar to some, but a home for many. You hear music first, then voices, laughter, and every voice comes from a real person, somewhere in the world. Maybe they live in the same country, or maybe they live across the ocean. It doesn't matter, because in this moment, we're all sitting behind a screen, headset pressed against our faces, living our second life. There is no script and no structure, just the genuine chaos that comes with human beings. But not every world in VRChat is loud and talkative. Some are quiet, peaceful. These are called sleep worlds. While you lie in your own bed at home, you can also lie down on a virtual one. Or maybe you'll choose to lie on a cloud, or on the ground in the middle of a fantastical forest. And sometimes you need not be alone, because these are public worlds, and if you ask, someone will surely be nice enough to let you join them while you both dream the night away. Whether people come here to escape the noise or to simply rest, there is an overarching reason. They come here to feel the connection of another human being, even if they have never met. Feeling that companionship, even digitally, can be intoxicating. And suddenly, you find yourself losing more and more time to the game as your hours tick up at a rapid rate. Because when you're inside that headset, for a lot of people, the line between the digital world and reality can start to blur. You can feel like you belong here. In a strange way, VRChat has become a place for people who don't fit anywhere else. Those who struggle with anxiety, loneliness, or even their identity. Here, they can breathe. They can relax. In this virtual reality, you are not defined by how you look, what you own, or what your life looks like outside of the headset. You are defined by your presence, the energy that you bring to the party. And that can feel utterly liberating. When you spend enough time here, something strange can happen. You start to enjoy this life more than the one that you have got here on planet Earth. You start to really believe in it. And there's something interesting about that. The human desire to almost click restart and build another life for yourself. When I first entered VRChat, I thought that I was just exploring a popular games that my friends had recommended, and in many ways, I was. This can be paradise, but even in the brightest places, you aren't immune to darkness. The deeper you go into this virtual world, the more you discover what truly hides beneath the surface. The things that go on when no one is watching. The individuals that people become when no one can see their face. VRChat is a mirror. It reflects who we are and what we want. But, like any mirror, if you stare into it long enough, you start to see something staring back. And the story isn't as simple as you may think. While it may seem like all fun and games on the surface, the reality is far darker than anyone wants to admit. On the surface, you have the positive side of the adult world. People over the age of 18 enter consensual social spaces, and here you're allowed to do whatever you want, but with respect for others. You can dance with strangers, chat and drink alcohol, or even roleplay scenarios, should both parties consent. This is called erotic roleplay, or ERP, and there are many groups out there where this is a massive part of them. Some avatars have removable clothes to show off different body parts, and a lot of them, designed with ERP in mind, even come with adult animations for you to use however you please. There is also another layer to this, full body tracking, or FBT. With FBT, you can become your character. Your movements are perfectly reflected in the game, and this is the route that people who want to be fully immersed will go down. And this is a major part of the ERP world as well. There are plenty of subreddits out there where you can find VRChat hookups, like this one with almost 50,000 members. Although sexual activity is technically banned on VRChat, you can easily find your way into it. Some groups that host bars also host sex parties on a Saturday night, so even if you're not looking, you can find your way into it. Sometimes the party doesn't even need to get down to action immediately. A lot of people tend to just converse with their private parts exposed for the world to see, the type of conversations that would be observed in a regular public instance. But just like the cuddling worlds, most of the participants in this form of ERP simply see it as another form of emotional connection. Some people who have spoken to the press over the years have said that because you feel vulnerable and are giving someone your full virtual self, you start to get to know people on a genuine, meaningful level, especially because a lot of the time, the fun transfers to real life. There are many sex toys out there that can be remotely controlled, and although we'll talk more about this later, this is a massive part of the underground parties. By simply giving someone a code or a link, they can have an effect on you in real life. Sometimes these toys can cost hundreds of dollars, but in their eyes, that's okay, because it's adding to the fun. It goes beyond just toys as well, because some people can develop what is called phantom touch. Phantom touch is an experience where a person can feel the touch of another person without any physical interaction. It is the brain tricking you into thinking that these virtual phantom touches that you're having are real, even though they're not. From a handful of people surveyed 6 years ago, 46% of people reported having phantom touch when playing in VRChat. 18% reported having phantom touch playing both VR and a desktop, with 36% saying that they didn't have it at all. But with all the fun, of course, there are dark sides. In the shadows of VRChat, predators are lurking, waiting to pounce on unsuspecting individuals. While there is no official data about how many minors use VRChat, it's not hard to run into some. If you go into one of the worlds advertised on the front page, you will likely find someone under the age of 18 before long, because the age to use VRChat is only 13. This is a controversial subject because a lot of people believe that even if you don't get involved with the adult side, VRChat is still an unsafe place for people who are that young. And any person who has played it for even an hour could tell you that is the case. VRChat is no place for someone who is under 13 or 13, and that's further proven by the fact that there is a massive predator problem. With how many resources predators have right at their fingertips, haptics, full body tracking, unlimited worlds and avatars, to them it has never been easier to carry out illegal activity. And some predators spoken to during a report backed by the National Crime Agency have even admitted that, saying that it is stupidly easy to enter the rabbit hole. When people can't see their faces, potential predators feel as though they have the power to do anything. Because people can't prove otherwise, predators may also act like a younger age in order to do stuff with actual minors, meaning that people may not bat an eye because, as far as they're aware, it's just two people having fun. But that raises another question about accountability. While I'm sure a majority of VRChat users would start to ask questions if something like this were going on, there is no doubt that there is still a portion of players who wouldn't. And those people exist. And this is happening. One researcher from the BBC carried out her own investigation and posed as a 13-year-old girl. She joined a world that was essentially a strip club, and she witnessed numerous adult men chasing after another girl who was not an adult, begging her to take off her clothes. VRChat claim that there is no place on their platform for this type of activity, but with over 70,000 people logging onto the game sometimes, they are not doing enough to actually prevent it. And it has been and continues to be a big problem. Recently, VRChat took a step towards banning NSFW avatars, with users reportedly being banned for either using them in public instances or having them as their favourites on their profile. I tried to confirm this but couldn't find any verifiable source. Some people are spreading the rumour that the developers have introduced new AI technology that is scanning each and every individual avatar for NSFW content, and I can confirm that this part, at least, is untrue. But one thing is true. This content is very accessible, and this is where the narrative becomes complicated, because it becomes very clear that a lot of this activity is happening in private spaces. It isn't as black and white that we can say that we should only focus on public worlds for family-friendly fun, or that we should fear what lurks in the dark. It's a bit of both. So instead of relying on claims or rumours, I wanted to see what was actually there for myself. I decided to check just how easy it is to find this side of the platform, so I did a simple search for VRChat worlds. Despite me being based in the UK, where the Online Safety Act is a thing, which is supposed to stop anyone who isn't aged verified from being able to access adult content, I managed to find uncensored sites without being logged in, explaining how to act spicy on the game. The post is titled "The Ultimate Guide to VRC," and it is what it says in the tin. It explains the hardware you need to get started, like FBTs and VR headsets, and even lists software that can make your experience better. It offers guides on how to get an NSFW avatar, and even gives the reader worlds they can access to meet people who may be interested. They note that most activity happens in a private world, but they say that you can go into these worlds and attempt to attract a partner with your avatar. And in that same vein, they give Discord servers that are used to meet people willing to ERP. And if you can't find a partner for yourself, there is always adult content, because so-called LootTubers are much bigger than you could ever imagine. Before we dive into this section, I want to say absolutely no shade to these creators. They are just doing their job, just like I am by researching this, and they explicitly state that their content is only for those over the age of 18. You'll have your own thoughts as a viewer, as will I outside of being a journalist, but please don't harass or hate on any adult creator mentioned in this video. It's still important to recognise them and explain this side of the platform though, so let's get started. The first creator I want to focus on is called Virtually Lewd. With almost 90,000 followers on Twitter, she is massive and describes herself as a silly little anime girl living her best online life, an anonymous corn star, and a lewd-tuber. In their pinned post, they link out to all of their other platforms. They offer a fans page, but that is far from the only place where she uploads content, because she also links out to popular adult website Hub. Here, she posts videos of herself getting off while in VR. She has full body tracking and it's literally just adult content, but with a 2D avatar. There isn't really much to say about the content itself because it's literally just, but these videos have thousands of views, and overall they have been viewed almost 10 million times. That's on top of the over 3 million profile views that she has. Almost 24,000 people have subscribed to her, which as far as I can find is free, but still, it shows just how popular she and this content as a whole actually is. People are watching this, and as long as there is demand, there will be people to give supply. And you can't blame any of these YouTubers for doing what they do. I scrolled through Virtual Lewd's Twitter and I found that a person called Marcus had donated a lot of money to her back in 2023 and most likely afterwards as well. At the end of August, he sent her $250 just out of the blue, and a month later, in September, he sent her an additional $500. You know what? If this is how financially viable it can be, I'll put on the headset and get my feet out. Anyone? No? Okay. Now that we've had a look at just one of the many models out there, we need to go back to the guide we were looking at before, because they offer ERP tips. Here they mention that you should use an in-game mirror, use the environment, and importantly, use toys, in reference to sex toys. And that's because there are tools for the game out there that allow you to connect vibrators and other devices for use in places like the underground parties that I briefly mentioned earlier in the video. LoveSense is one of the most popular brands behind these devices, and they are synced up toys that allow app control and can be done long distance. It is used by a lot of adult creators on many sites, but it is also used a lot on VRChat. To give you an idea of how something like this works, if you've got it set up, when someone touches your avatar where the toy is, it will react in real life. That brings an entire new level of immersion to this because it can make relationships and encounters feel real. If you're getting the pleasure in real life from partaking in these actions, then that blurs the line between reality and VR even more. And that's how people can get so addicted. Because with everything taken into consideration, the sexual acts, the relationships, drinking and partying in the virtual world, it can take over your real one. We touched on it briefly earlier, but I wanted to specifically dive into the website Steam Ladder, where we can view the users with the most hours on VRChat from around the world. Shockingly, the top 10 combined total playtime sits at over 596,000 hours. The number one player alone has over 66,000 hours in the game, and to put that into perspective, that is years of their life spent inside a virtual world. To be exact, that's over 60 years combined, and the top user has played for over 7.5 years. For these people, VRChat isn't just a game anymore. It becomes part of their daily routine. It's familiar, and as I mentioned all the way back at the start, for some, it becomes home. And maybe, to an extent, that's okay. A lot of videos I've seen about the platform treat its users like anomalies, people who should be avoided, social outcasts, but that whole framing misses the point. Because the truth is, most people here aren't villains, they're just people. People talking, laughing, building connections in a virtual space. Yes, there will be bad actors like predators and scammers. There always will be on massive platforms, but that's not the whole story. It's only a part of it, and it's the one that gets the most attention. The majority of players aren't there for anything sinister. They're there because, in one way or another, VRChat gives them something that they struggle to find elsewhere. A place where they can build relationships, express themselves, or genuinely just escape from reality. And although you might think that's weird, it's not bad. Throughout this video, there has been something on my mind. Is VRChat the first example of a virtual reality world becoming a genuine replacement for a real one in some cases? I'd say it is. And if you hate it, then hate the game and not the player. I know it's a cliche, but it is true in this case. By design, VRChat is endless. It doesn't prompt you to leave. There's always another world to jump to. So, in a world where possibility is truly endless and it's attached to your face, it really isn't surprising that some people never log out. And that is the scariest part of it all. Thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. If you did enjoy, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it. It really helps the channel. If you're listening on Spotify, you can rate the podcast 5 stars and follow the show. I took a little bit of a break because I was on holiday in a different country, but we're back. And we're better than ever. I'll be releasing a special video soon where it's like a Q&A, but the channel hit 5 years. We are 5 years old. Jessicur is 5 years old. We have been on the platform for a whole 5 years, so thank you all for the support. I really appreciate it. All of my social links are in the description and on screen right now, and thank you to everyone supporting the channel through memberships here or on Jessicur Plus or on Patreon. You mean the world to me. I'll be back very soon, but if you want another right now, then I think that you'll like the video that's on your screen.